So now, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to invite a very special guest among us, which I just had a little sit down and talk to her earlier, where she took a 30-hour flight just to be here with you. And I think we should all stand to our feet, everybody, and I think we should recognize this wonderful lady, your Vice President of Global Field Development, Miss Lucy West.
Woo! Thank you. I know that some of you are new here. The ones that have been with us for a long time, you know me very, very well. Before, we used to travel the world and I knew everybody, and I see so many new faces. So just to tell you a little bit about me, I've been with Jeunesse for 16 years, which means I was with Jeunesse before it was Jeunesse. I was one of the original executives sitting around the table when in Wendy's office, when she came back from Dr. Newman's office, and had this bottle of serum sitting on her desk. And she said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Well, what does it do?" And she goes, "Well, it helps reduce wrinkles." And I said, "Where do I get some?" Anybody that has a wrinkle becomes interested in how to diminish fine lines and wrinkles, right? And we're in the type of business where if a product lasts 30 days and somebody needs to purchase that product every month, cha-ching, that is the best way to build your business. You don't want some supply that lasts 6 months. And not only that, you get into fresh vitamins. You want to move the supply because it's like olive oil or anything else. The fresher it is, the more potent it is, the better it is for you. But she had that, and then we decided, let's create a new company. And I was in her office when, we were thinking about ranks, and we said, well, why don't we have jades and pearls and sapphires? So we have that. So I know Jeunesse really, really well, and I love Jeunesse. And most of all, I love all the people, and I really love our owners. Wendy, Randy, Scott. I've known Scott since he was 27 years old. He and I actually started the same week, and some of the programmers too. So for those of you that are new, I was born in the UK. When I was 11, my dad was a psychiatrist. My mother's an actress. Get that combination. Now you know, perfect for network marketing. We went to Canada when I was 11, and then I went and lived in Spain. And then from Spain, I actually got involved in network marketing. So I was 27 years old. How many of you are 27 years old in this room? Or about that? Yeah, get out of here, John. You wish. So I started because I was at home with 3 kids, and I heard there's lots of mothers in here with 3. 3 seems to be the max, right? It's just like after that 3rd one, there is not going to be another. And a neighbor knocked on my door and said, "I have something for you." I wasn't teaching, I was a teacher. I was home with the kids, and all I wanted to do was make a little bit extra. What I didn't realize with making a little bit extra was I began to grow. I had no idea that I even needed a life. I mean, when you're the mother of 3 children, you don't have a life. It is all children. And suddenly, once a week, I would go and do a meeting. And then I really liked that. And then I like talking on stage. So, it's the development. It's that self-development. So along with great products for wellness and everything that makes, you get that personal development. And that personal development helps you grow. And deep down inside, everybody, we have this little thing called belief factor. And it's not very strong when you're little. And too many people say, "Oh, this doesn't work. No, you can't do that. And what do you think you're doing? And where are you going? And why are you better than me? I want you to be the same as me." And you need that to grow. And you need it to grow so that you become really strong, so that you are strong enough to support the people around you. Only the ones that are strong inside have that strength to support people around you. But the great news is you can learn. I was wondering what I was going to talk to you about this afternoon. And I've done this in the Ukraine, and I had very good friends in the Ukraine, and it breaks my heart every day to see what's happening over there. It's just wrong. But I've also done this down in Brazil, and I've shared it in South Africa. And it's a very personal story that happened to me when I was 19 years old. you will find in this business that sharing your story is a very important thing to do. And you share stories that other people can learn from. You don't really want to tell a story and it doesn't mean anything to someone. You tell a story because it means something to you, right? And you find a way to share that. So, has any of you here ever been on a train? Okay, this is really important. So if you don't, some of you don't understand me then, or you've never been on a train. Okay. Has anybody ever been on a train going through the mountains? Okay, Chris has. A few have been on a train going through the mountains. Has anybody seen a train in a movie or a film? Okay, now we're getting there. Going around a mountain with the view. Well, when I was a student, I had a great job in Canada working on the Canadian Railway. And the train would go from Vancouver to Winnipeg, and part of that was going through the Canadian Rockies. So the track of the train sometimes was hundreds of feet up above a river below, and it was beside the mountain. The views were spectacular. And so I'm going to take you through what happened to me one night on a train at 3 a.m. in the morning. And bear with me, there is a reason why I am sharing you this story with you. So, that's what happened to me. It was 3 a.m. in the morning, and I was working on the train, and they give us these little rooms called a roomette that you sleep in. And the train goes around many corners, and you always hear the wheels pressing up against it. And I would wake up, like you sleep very lightly because the train's constantly moving and the noise when it goes around a corner. And I remember being in my roomette and hearing it going around a corner and it making the normal noise, and it just kept going. And it took me a while to realize what was happening. And I remember lying there going like, oh my God. And I just went into some amazingly calm place and I just prayed. I think when there's nothing you can do, there's nothing I could do to stop this happening. The thing that you do is I think that you protected. In mine, I was praying, and I felt like God wrapped his arms around me, and I just waited until it stopped. And that noise you heard is 150 tons of metal crashing. And the noise, every time I hear it, it will never get out of my head, but you wait for it all to settle. Anybody that's been in a car accident or any type of accident, you know that at the time there's nothing you can do, and it's just that you wait till you sort of come to after. And I remember waking up and I was like upside down and I had to open the door, and I remember getting out of the door and there were other staff in the same car where I was. And the first thing that I thought is, my God, I'm alive. Because when it was happening, I thought if I wake up, I'm alive. If I wake up and I'm dead, I'm dead. But I'm happy that I'm alive. And I'm going like, oh, I just got to get out of here. So calmly I was getting out, and I was very calm till somebody else who was the room beside mine shouted, water, water. And the panic, everybody's trying to get out of this railway car because they think we're in the river. And I'm going, I was fine until he shouted water. So now we're all like scrambling to get out of the railway car. And as I got out, I looked at all the other carriages, and there were white sheets hanging over the window, and they were dragging people out too. We weren't in the river. Whoever it was that shouted water should never have shouted water, ever. I blame him for all of that panic getting out of the car. It's just he had been in a couple of derailments, and this wasn't his first. So I got out, and then I was hired by the railway. So it's kind of like when you're an air hostess on a plane. Your job is to help all the passengers. So it gave me something to do. So this is the newspaper clipping of the train going through the Canadian Rockies. And you can see right over here is the water down in the, and when was this? This is like, I don't know, 1981 or something like that. So yeah, I'm pretty old. But this other part I started, what happens to you in life that you learn about yourself? So after we helped everybody, and immediately, of course, we were handing out food and everything, what I learned from this trip is a couple of the people I were working with. So I remember walking around while like the smoke lifts, it's very early in the morning, you're checking that everybody's okay. One person broke their leg, another broke their hand. But we were in the middle of nowhere. The paramedics had to come down on ropes. They had to like rock climb down to help us there. One of the people I worked with, another girl, it's like a movie in slow motion. As you're walking through and the people are all stand and they're sitting down, one of the girls was sitting on the stairs outside one of the trains and she was doing her nails. I mean, you couldn't make this up on a movie script. Seriously doing her nails, going, I'm never going on a train, I'm never going on a plane, I'm never doing anything. Who paints their nails when they're stressed? And another guy, he was about 6'4", he was running the bar in the bar car, his name was Wolfgang. He was down in his drinking those little bottles of scotch. Neither of them were helping anybody, and they were all hired by the railway. So I do know that accidents affect every single person differently, and everybody responds, but I was thinking, I wouldn't want to hire them. And I think before you judge someone, because people can talk a great talk, and these two, like the guy who was doing the bar, drinking everything, you'd think he was the strongest person in the world, and it turns out he's the weakest. Because in a time when we needed him to pull himself together to help other people, he was falling apart. And as for Miss Paint Your Nails, she was useless. She needed a paramedic more than anybody else did. The other part was there were 350 people on this train, and because they were all sleeping, nobody was killed. Had they been up walking around that train and the train had gone off the track, there would have been so many more injuries. But because everybody was sleeping and they were relaxed, they were okay. So, and you'll see that, this is the name I was, Nightweb, before I was West. But when they came and picked us up, they had to bring another train to come and pick us up. I'd already figured out, because I was in uniform, that if I was the first one off the train, I would probably get my name in the paper. So, I'm being honest here. I may as well make the most of this, because I'm never going to be in a train derailment ever again in my life. So, And everybody knew I was okay once they read that in the newspaper back home. So, have you ever looked at a situation as a disaster and thought that it was worse than it is? I'm sure if you think about lots of situations, you worried more than you would worried. Are you the person who shouts water when there's no water? You can add to a situation. You can make it better or you can make it worse. And then you realize that it's not as bad as it seemed. The situation was actually fixable, and helping others feels good. I think what helped me with that train derailment was the fact that I was working for the Canadian Railway, and my job was to help all the others. So I was very, very busy helping people. And being calm and not panicking gives you choices. Panicking, you've got no choice. But being calm and stepping back, we've all been through a train wreck these last 2 years. People have lost their businesses, people have lost their family members, people have lost their faith, their trust, people have lost some of their ability to connect with people. But it will come back, and it will get better, and it will be changed. So Chris talked about getting back in the saddle and getting back on the bike. Well, I'm talking about getting back on track. You step back from a situation. You need time to assess what's going on, and that's very important. You don't want to shut down your thinking capability. You are going to be dealing with people, and you are going to be dealing with situations, and how you manage that is going to be key to how successful your people are. You see, when somebody is in panic mode, they won't be able to build a business. If somebody is in a, oh, this doesn't work, and this happens, they will not build a business. What you do as a leader, they will do. So working as a team is really, really important. I wasn't the only one working after this train derailment happened. There were a bunch of us that came together. How can we help? What can we do? We need sandwiches, we need water, we need blankets. We need to make sure the ones that are hurt get medical attention. So that was our number one goal, and there were a team of us that made that happen, and we all got really nice letters from the Canadian government on that as well. You've got to get through the confusion, and taking action is really, really important. Anybody that's been in any type of disaster knows that often it's the quick reaction and quick action that helps people and can save lives as well. So the faster you can move, it's important. So you might be sitting there wondering, how can this help your business? So I thought about this. I had a lot of years to think about this. So let's assume Jeunesse is the central station. All the trains come into the central station, right? And each diamond is a train. So you've got Winston's train, you've got Steffi Chia's train, we got everybody's train there. Yeah, you're not on a train, you're in the station, Keith. Each engine car is the strongest leader that diamond has. June, who's your strongest leader? Yeah. Who's your strongest leader on your team? Who's your biggest engine car? Or just think about it. Steffi, who's your strongest leader you've got on your team? It would be your leader who has the biggest team, the leader that's most like you. Do you have one? If you think of one, Winston, who's your strongest leader? That is your engine car. That's one engine car. And the bigger the team, the more engine cars you need, because they're motors. And when you're going up a hill, you need those motors to kick in. When it's on the flat, it's okay. But when you're going up a mountain, you need to make sure you've got enough power to get that train up the mountain, or it's going to start sliding backwards, right? The stations in this one, each passenger car is a leader on your team. Might not be the engine that drives, but you're going to have people here, leaders that come on. The stations are ranks, and the final destination, obviously, is the diamond. So what kind of train are you? Are you a bullet train? Are you kind of a metro train? Or are you the old-fashioned, I'll get there someday, not in a hurry, look at the scenery, it's beautiful, let's take the scenic route. So in this business, your number one job is getting people to the station. This would be getting people to have an opportunity meeting. So what is getting people to the station? Meetings, events, one-on-ones, home meetings, social media, and now I gotta add, obviously this was before pandemic, Zoom meetings. But when I say meetings, I mean any kind of meeting. So you want to get people to the station, because if you don't get people to the station, they will not get on the train. So your job is to create reasons, stories, invites, so people want to go to the station and people want to get on the train. You want them, whatever it is, to talk their language so they want to do something. Number two is getting them on the opportunity train. Why would they want to get on the train? Who wants to get on the train to save money? Who wants to save money? Who wants to be healthy? Who wants to make money? Who wants a full-time? Who wants to work this full-time or part-time? How many of you are doing this part-time right now? How many of you are doing this full-time? About half and half. It's really important. Don't forget, most people start part-time and then they become full-time. Who wants to be with their friends? I heard lots of reasons. Who wants to do this with their friends, right? Huge reason. Who wants to be part of a group? Who wants to have fun? Who wants to travel? Who wants to have hope and purpose? Who wants to make their life worth living? You know, like, this is why you get on the train. But do you see that when you're talking to someone? Think about it. You got them to the station, which is quite an effort, so congratulations. But getting them to the station doesn't mean they're going to get on the train. So how you position what you're going to do is, first of all, phenomenal. If you get them to the station, try not to lose them. You know? But getting them on the train means you've got to be able to present something that speaks to them. Like, if I am not interested in making money, probably products is good. But if people need money, then you've got to be able to say, well, how many hours a week do you want to work the business? How much money would you like to make in your first 30 days? And with Massive Action Plan right now, it plays perfectly in that. Massive Action is for new people. It's not for existing people. It's when you sign up somebody tomorrow, they've got 30 days. It's an onboarding bonus. That's what it is. All successful companies have a 30-day onboarding process. So it helps you as you're bringing someone on to say, if you want to make $600 in your first 30 days, then let me recommend that you start with the Builder package or the business package. And then if it's one package, they have to do 5,000 PGV in the first 30 days. If it's the other one, it's 2,500. But you're able to help somebody. They've told you what they want to do. You now have a map. You have a time frame, and that's why they'll get on your train. Why do people decide not to get on a train? Well, first of all, they don't understand the benefits. Would you agree? Second is they don't see the vision. Vision is really important. So how you see the vision. They don't see the value for their money. So when somebody says, oh, that's too expensive, what that says in my head is they don't understand the value of these products. I know Brian was talking in Malay or Chinese or something like that, and I didn't understand it. But I think at some point he said something like, when people are young, you know, they'll do anything for their wealth. And then when people get older, they have to use up their wealth for their health. Your health becomes the most important thing at the end. So why not have both your entire life? Yeah. The other one is they're not looking for an opportunity. So you're talking to someone and they're speaking one language and you're speaking another. Like, you're so on fire about this opportunity, and they're not even looking, they hadn't even thought about it. Some people need to think about it. They're afraid. Can't afford it. And the worst one is people are actually more afraid of success than they are of failing. Let me repeat that one. They're more afraid of success than they are of failing because they haven't even tried. You know, what's the biggest thing that can happen? You restart your business. If it doesn't work the first week, you try the second week. This is a great business. You can just keep restarting till you figure it out. That's the beauty. Once you pay that $29.95, which is, I speak in dollars because we're in so many countries, but you've got 12 months to try and kickstart your business, you know, and there's always some sort of cash promo like Run to Ruby or something going on to help you start your business. And then the saddest one for me on this whole list of why people decide not to get on the train is no one followed up. So you spent all that time and effort getting someone to the station, and then you never followed up with this person. Follow-up is probably the most important thing that you can learn for your business. And you get with your diamonds up here and you see what they do to follow up. You ask and you learn from them because that is such a valuable key to you making it to diamond. So how many of you now have a good system to follow up with your people? Yep, you guys have one. I'm sure Steffi has one too. These guys do, so get with them as well. And then what's your onboarding process? So now you get them on the train. You've all been in airplanes where the first thing they do is they tell you about the safety and all of that. Same thing when you get them on a train. You know, you've got to know why they're getting on the train, where are they going, and how long will it take to get them to the next station. So an onboarding would be massive action plan, because you're giving them specific instructions for 30 days. An onboarding would be letting them know about the compensation plan, letting them know about the back office, also how to read their commissions, where their reports are. An onboarding would be knowing the rank that they want to get to in the next 30, 60 days. This is how you help somebody succeed. And then you want to get them to the right station. How fast people get to the station all depends on who the diamond is that's driving that train. That train, it could be the slow train, it could be the medium train, and it could be the fast train. They're going to go a lot faster. So the different stations are executive. I love that whenever we do recognition, we say, would all the executives stand up? Well, every executive, Jade, Pearl, and Sapphire is an executive, and everybody stands up for everything. And then we should start from the top down and go Sapphires down. So imagine that each rank is a station. Getting to the station. So somebody's going to go to Jade. Have you ever been in a London metro or the Singapore has a metro too, or the tube, and you're sitting there going like, how do I get to my destination? It is so confusing. But you've got the no time, confused, distracted, focused, executive. No money, no recognition, no important, not independent, focused, Jade executive. Getting somebody to a rank is a very, very difficult thing to do. So you want to have a really smooth process so they don't have excuses. Excuses will kill your business. So learn to manage and work around your business. If any one of you here that's on your diamond train right now, if you get off at the wrong station, it's highly unlikely they are going to stop the train and say, oh my goodness, you decided not to work your business for a week? They don't even know you got off the train probably for a couple of months. And you're wondering why you don't get a phone call or why somebody's not helping you. This is independent distributor, not dependent distributor. It's up to you to get back on that train. It's up to you to reach out to your sponsor and say, hey, I need your help. I got off in the wrong place. I need to get back on. I want to get my business going. So, can you give me your word that if for some reason you get stuck, that you will reach out to your sponsor and keep going? Will you give me your word you will do that? They're paid, your sponsor, to help you. That's why there is a matching bonus. So don't just wait for someone to reach out to you. Take a little initiative. Tell them, I need your help. I want to do it. I'm tired, but you have to get back on. Get back on that train. You don't know what's around the next bend, right? Nobody does. Had I known that train was going to derail, I never would have got on it in the first place. But that train taught me a lot. It taught me that when situations look bad, they're not as bad as they are. It taught me not to trust people right away, to work with them and find out who they are. Not just because somebody looks really strong doesn't mean he necessarily is. And enjoy the journey. Think about what you like about your business and write it down. This is really important. If you are super in love with Jeunesse, now, nobody could be more in love with Jeunesse than Alice Tang. She is Jeunesse on fire. And I want you to know she's the #1 compliance case we had in Malaysia, too. Yeah, well, we know that. But when you're enthusiastic and you're in what we call the honeymoon stage, it's new and everything's great, please write down what you love about your business, because there will be days that you need to go and read that. How many wives do we have here? How many wives? Come on, all the women who are married, put your hands up. You need to do this about your husband too. Write down all the things you love about him for those days when, you would rather he go live in another house. And then you read it and you go, I do remember when he said that, and I do remember when he did this. The same thing with your business. It's a little love note to yourself to remind you of those times when you need that positive reinforcement. Super important to do that. The more people, the more power. And it takes an awful lot of power to drive this. So the more people, the more power you need, the more engine cars you are going to need. And so you could have a big team of thousands of people, but if you don't have a bunch of diamonds in those people or some emeralds, you're going to be in trouble because you need strong leaders to help you manage all of those people. And then be there to greet people at each station. So each station, which represents, you want to be there to greet your people. And I saw everybody doing such a wonderful job at that today. Seeing people they hadn't seen for a while. What a great part of our business. And the company. We have the company waiting for you. I love to do this recognition. Our team runs global recognition. We're responsible for that big diamond wall you saw in the office in the Scott Lewis video. And we come up with new awards all the time. At Expo, there'll be lots of awards that you can earn as well, and there'll be recognition across the stage. And I mean, if you can go diamond before then, you'll certainly be on stage with Scott Lewis and get your photo and Wendy Lewis. And AK will be there as well. So the question you got to ask yourself is, are you on the train or are you on the platform? This is an opportunity of a lifetime. Understand why the people are on your train. Understand the importance of sharing the destination. Help your people onboard and keep their passengers, and think of ways to get your people back on track. It's so much better to keep somebody and keep them happy than to keep on recruiting new people all the time. It's part of our industry, I understand it, but people are your most valuable asset. And we really appreciate all of you that even in this scary time as we're coming out of what do you call it, the MCO? I feel like it's a song, MCO. I hope Chris that too. Sorry, I couldn't help that one. It's a risk getting together with people and take the masks off. But you see, I'm from Florida, and in Florida, nobody's wearing a mask right now. This happened like a year ago. And so you're all just coming out of that stage right now. We've had this herd mentality. It will get easier, and it will get better, and it could shut down again. So you better be flexible. Doesn't mean everything is great. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't give up your Zooms. Learn from all of that. Do a little bit of it. Aren't we lucky that during this whole MCO, we had a home-based business? Our doors never closed once. We went home, but we all kept working from home. It took 30 days for people to start getting on Zooms like you would not believe. It was a little bit like, how am I going to do my business? I'm used to flying around the world. Even the owners, and then boom, everybody was there building and working. So it's time to get your business back on track here in Malaysia. This opportunity can take you around the world. You heard as well people who have business in 35 different countries. And it's so exciting to be able to travel and meet and take these pictures of all these beautiful places to visit. Your job, again, is to get people to the station and then to get them on the train. And if you need help, this is what the Upline is there to help you. Learn how to be great leaders and learn how to help yourself. Learn how to ask for help and learn how to make a situation better, not worse. I think if I think back at I've been 35 years in the industry, and I've been in corporate since 1994. And I remember at one of the companies I was working for, and that's where I met Wendy and Randy in 2003, but the vice president called me into her office, and she was giving me a review, and she goes, I never understand how you got to where you got to. It must be your attitude. And I'm going, well, what's wrong with that? Attitude is so important. Your attitude affects everybody around you. So your business is in your hands. I hope that you get one of those trains, that you're a diamond, that you're at the station, and that you take this bullet fast, and that we will see you at Expo, and you'll be walking across the stage getting your awards and getting your new pins. Thank you all so much, everybody. We love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Lucy with, come on everybody.